Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I have a couple projects going on. As you can see, Weeping Angel, I took the head off. It was just hanging by some hot glue. I removed the gobs of glue from around this part and that part. I'm going to attempt to either hot glue her, but with much less hot glue than what they had, or I might try some E6000. I'm not quite sure, but she's going to be on the block for getting some work done. And then I'm going to turn her into a Weeping Angel from Doctor Who. But first, I have another project. My mom had sent this music box. Oops. I have taken it apart. It was giving me some trouble. It wasn't working very well as a music box, and I was more interested in it for the wood pieces. So first off, I took this apart. Here's the hardware that came from it. This was supposed to be a hinged piece that would open up to have a little box compartment there. So we took that off, and then we had quite the hard time, but I managed to pry this off. In this compartment, when you take this off, it had the music box piece, which, don't get me wrong, it does still work. And it was made in Japan, so I think that's extra cool. But I don't know what I'm going to do with this piece. I have no real use for it, especially not in the doll house. But what I was most interested in, ta-da, it looks like a doll shelf. So that's what it's going to be. I have to glue this piece. It's kind of in there, but as you can see, it kind of pulled apart. They had it glued in, and I had to pry it off. But I'm going to leave that as is on the back. I'm going to glue this to strengthen it. And then I'm going to clean it up. I think I'm going to paint it. Not sure what color. Either it's going to be a gray or a cream color. But this is going to go into the gamer doll room that I made. And then once I'm done cleaning it up, fixing it up, and I show you guys, I'm going to lead into showing you the entire doll room that I have for the gamers. So, there's my plan. I will let you know how it turns out. Or actually, I'll show you. I'll show you how it turns out very soon. But yeah, this is my next project. Alright guys, so here we are, we're back, and as you can see, I have painted my shelf. I did put some hot glue in. You can kind of see the lines of that. It's a little goopy, but that's okay, because this is going into the doll game room. I did use my Paint Plus primer, just because it's what I had on hand, and it tends to work easier on the smoother surfaces. However, on rough surfaces, as you can see, it doesn't really like to adhere very well. So I think I'm going to use a little bit of acrylic and try to give this an edge that looks better than this. Not sure how it's going to work, but we're going to try that out. So I will go grab the acrylic in just a minute. But I did want you to see the angel. I cleaned up her edge a bit, getting all that goopy glue off, and then I put glue into it, and you can kind of see it in some areas. There are still cracks. So what I might do, well, it seems pretty solid, so I don't think I will. I was wondering if I should try to put glue around and smooth it down but I'm afraid that it might just come apart again. There's still chipped glue pieces, as you can see in here. But my idea is, oh no, okay, that's not too bad. There she is. And my idea is I'm going to have to paint her. I'm going to clean her up, and I'm going to give her a paint job that's going to give her more of the Weeping Angel. For those of you that don't know, when I was talking about the Weeping Angels, I'm talking about the ones from the Doctor Who show. I haven't seen much of the Doctor Who, but I did see bits and pieces back in the day. And one thing that I absolutely loved was the Weeping Angel idea. I've seen a lot of cosplayers do it. And so she's going to need to be a gray, and I'm going to shade in some of the places darker than others. And then I have to paint the wings and then reattach them to her back. Because it turns out these were actually her wings originally. And then they'll go on the back, and then she'll be ready for the museum. So I will get to that a little bit later, but we're going to focus on this because this is my next project. Let me go grab that acrylic and let's see if we can't fix this. Alright, so I got my paint. I'm going to try this one. It's one that my daughter had, and we've used it a couple of times on other projects. And we're going to see if I can make this one work. I just want a little bit. Don't like to waste her paint. Yeah, it definitely sticks better. So I think that's what I'll do. It's not a good, like, spot on match, but that's okay. It'll be kind of like an edging that I'll do just on the shelves. But it seems to be working better than leaving it raw. So I wonder if it'll go over this. Hey, I might go ahead and do it around the whole edge. So I'm going to paint this and we'll be back with the end. Alright, so here we are. We're back. It's going to have to dry for a couple more minutes. And I did decide to paint that because it was just looking so rough. And I got some on the back, but no, I don't care. You're not going to see it really once I put it in there. But I went ahead and added white along the edges to kind of clean that look up. We're going to say that my doll, she thrifted it and cleaned it up as best she could with what she had on hand. I like that. I like that story. That seems like something I would do. And now we have our shelf ready to go. So let's go look at the doll room that we're going to add this to. And let's put some nerdy looking things on it, shall we? Alright guys, welcome to the game room. This is a build. It's crazy. This is actually my first build as far as a doll room goes, and it's been slowly just expanding, and I've been adding things and changing things until now. This is where it's going to be. I will still add things, but not on a major scale. So I'm going to take the camera and give you a more in-depth, detailed tour. Let's go. Alright, so the first thing you need to see is this is the whole box. This box right here was actually an entertainment centerpiece that my husband had that was falling apart and that we no longer really needed. And so we decided we were going to get rid of it, and I got to thinking, you know, I'd really love to make my first doll room. And so I did. And being that she's the nerd that I am, I decided it needed to be a game room first. So here's my mini-me, and the start of my husband's mini-me, because, you know, I decided he needed one too. Let's go, we'll start on this side. And I'm sorry it's in an awkward place, but I haven't been able to move it to the outside shed yet. Okay, first up is this. It actually had a clear screen that would slide along the ridges right there, but I took that part off, and then I used crafting wood from a kit and some little block pieces, and I created shelves. This came from what used to be Wall Street Antiques. It's now Cloverdale Mercantile. It's just a tiny jar. It reminded me of how people used to have those water jugs and they would fill them up with coins as a savings plan. So I had to have it. I had to get it and put it in. It was super cheap and it just looked cool. But I 3D printed that, Aladdin's lamp. The gold pieces you see on here, those came from an old Monopoly game that was missing a bunch of stuff. I 3D printed that, my little police box from Doctor Who, of course. This piece over here, this rocket, actually came from a Lost Kitties set that my daughters no longer wanted that piece, they just wanted the kitties. And then I made Navi in a bottle. If you know Zelda, you know. And then this piece it's just a charm, but it has a map in a bottle, so that one's on there. I found a really tiny die. I think it's actually a bead, and I glued it to there. We have right here, this is a Minecraft figurine piece that my kids had no longer wanted, so I glued it on. I had tried 3D printing something, it failed, so then I turned it into this, and it just holds a marble that's really shiny and just looked cool. This actually came from a game. He's not attached. R2-D2 is not attached, so I can take him off, and I have taken him out. But he came from, I think the game was Trouble. I think so. I think it was Trouble, but it was Star Wars themed, and there was pieces missing, so I salvaged him and the rest of the game had to go. This tiny swan is actually made out of glass. I did glue it down so it's permanently there, but it was from the Cloverdale Mercantile in a bag full of little vintage miniatures. I have no idea what this came from. It's just something that I found. This is a chess piece that I found and I glued on. That is Harley Quinn's 3D printed dragon. On my blog I have a DIY'd one-of-a-kind Harley Quinn I made doll. Eventually maybe I'll show her to you, and yeah, that's her baby dragon. I used packaging to add the Pac-Man sign to the top up there. These came from something else. It was a product promotion, and they had the Stranger Things cards, and I went and put them in order, gave them a frame, and added them to the wall. This I printed out. It was meant to be a full-sized 8x11, and I shrunk it down and printed it. That came from a Disney Rewards that I had done, and I just turned it into a poster. These are itty bitty Funkos, I think is what they're called, Funko Pops. And as you can see, we have just various ones that I've chosen and found. So up here I have Catwoman. These are my Avatar, The Last Airbender, from the animated series. I don't think anything else counts but those. And then we have this row, and this row is Star Wars, because yeah, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Of the originals. I don't really care after they went to Disney. Sorry, not sorry, don't care. We have Belle and Mulan as far as the Disney princess goes. Down here is my Lord of the Rings, and then I have some that came from Stranger Things. So I have empty spaces. Eventually I'll add others if I find them. I think I prefer Funkos in this size. Not as much of the bigger ones. I have a handful of them in the bigger size, but I really prefer doll size. Okay, this one was custom made for me. There was a guy who did some 3D printing for a while, and my 3D printer wasn't working, and so I asked him if he could create something, and he did. He delivered big time. He even put in a little switch. I don't know if I can turn it on. The switch is a little bit of a wonky mess sometimes, but let's see if I can get it to work. And then turn this. Okay. So I had to remove the battery pack. The little switch piece is a little difficult to use, but he did make an opening to where the switch can come out. And then he had tried to 3D print a little piece to go over it, but it doesn't necessarily always work. So I'm going to turn off the light, and now you can see it actually does turn on and lights up, and I don't think that moves, but it just looks more realistic. So he gave me Dig Dug for my vintage game room. Okay. Now that I got that put back together, so that sits off in the room. It's a little short for 1/6 scale, but you know, we pretend that it works just fine. As you can see, this was definitely a learning experience. I painted a foam board and I tried to attach it in because the actual back wall was so messed up. It just wasn't going to work as a wall, but it still is not perfect. On the back over here, so you can see I 3D printed a dragon. That's Harley Quinn's mallet. It kind of just sits in here. My daughter made that. It's supposed to be a little plant box made out of pipe cleaners. And I just put it up there. It's like your kid's artwork, you know? You just put it places. And then I have, this, a vintage camcorder. How many of you guys remember these? Who actually had one? I had one. As a teenager, I had one of these, and I was so excited to make videos, and it was so much fun. My mom can attest to that. But I went ahead and painted it, kind of gave it an upgraded look. I think my dragon just fell. They don't stay very well. Unless I glue it down or put it down somehow. The windows I 3D printed. We are always in fall because I think that is an amazing season that, well, I never really get anywhere because I've always lived in the South. We don't really have fall. But if I did, it would look like that. Up here, my daughter made this. It's supposed to be the Demogorgon monster creature from Stranger Things. I took packaging and little bits of triangular wood and foam board, cleaned them up, painted them, and made shelves that go all the way down. You know those corner packaging pieces that come in boxes to protect edges? That's what those are. I added Super Mario because I am a gamer and I like Super Mario. I put a dragon on the top. We have Combat Carl from Toy Story. I have another dragon. Can you tell I like dragons? I have a ninja. I am a ninja. And so I had to show off that I like ninjas. So we have a ninja. And then these three, we have, is it Cyborg? Cyborg, Green Lantern, and Aquaman. Little figures. My kids said they were creepy, so they didn't want them. And they gave them to me. And then Baby Groot. I love Groot. I think out of all the characters, he's my favorite. And he wouldn't stand up by himself. So his three brothers are on another shelf. They stand up, and he had to come in here and be put on the shelf. And yes, I have another dragon. Because I can't have enough dragons, apparently. Alright, and then on this wall, we have a poster that I printed out. This one is from a game that my husband plays. If you know the game, leave me a comment down below. But I thought it was funny. And then we have Harley Quinn, because yes, I am a Harley Quinn fan, if you couldn't tell already. And then we have the poster again, except in red. I don't know why I put two of the same exact poster. That was not supposed to be like that. But, oh well, I have two. I might take one down. And then I 3D printed this to hang on the wall. Yes, it's from Star Wars. It is my X-Wing. And then I 3D printed this one from Star Trek. It's a little bit messed up. It didn't quite come out the way I wanted it to. 3D printed this. I also am a fan of pirates. I love pirate history. Over here, I'm kind of missing one more thing, but I have my pickaxe from Minecraft, and then I have a sort of Minecraft looking shield that I 3D printed. Those are on the wall. Down here we have Barbie playing Minecraft because why not? I have not changed that screen since I put it in, but I printed the Minecraft screen and I put it to a TV screen. And then on here, if I can get it, I 3D printed a very tiny controller for them. And then here's where the fun starts. Yeah, that's about as much dust as you'll find on some of my furniture. In Midland, everything is dusty all the time. No matter if you just dusted. Oh, good grief. Okay. But I made this using a wooden plane kit from the dollar store. This was actually either one of the wings or one of the back flat parts. And I made a TV stand. So let me move things around a little bit. I took a box and made a DVD player. This one I 3D printed. My Sega, I believe, Dreamcast. Yeah, Sega Dreamcast console. And then I also 3D printed the Sega Saturn. Oops. And I'm just going to throw it everywhere. But it's 3D printed. I added speakers on the side of each one. And then down on the bottom, you have the PlayStation and Xbox One. And those are my consoles. Okay, I got all that put back together. I'm going to do a quick run through the rest. This box I put together, I think it was from the dollar store that my mom had sent. I made a little Wonder Woman themed chest that opens up. I just used some faux leather scraps to make the straps and then painted the top. It just sits off in the corner. These chairs I made, these are from capsules from the mini brands. My husband designed the base and I 3D printed it, and then I made pillows to go inside for the cushions. They are screwed in so they hold up really well. And so I have two of them because, you know, his and hers, and I wanted them to look different because I was testing out what looks better. So we have one white and one fully silver and different pillows for each of them. So there's those. Then we come back here into this. My husband designed the shelf and we 3D printed it so that I could put our DVD collection on it. And see if I can pull one off. Without all of them coming off, maybe. So this one's supposed to be like an anime one. Megamind is one of them. Here we go. The Shining. That's one of my husband's favorite. But anyways, I just have a bunch of little DVDs. A lot of these are ones that we would have on our own shelves. And yeah, that's our DVD collection in the back. Let me see if I can put these back on. A lot harder to do one-handed, but there we go. We're gonna put that back in the corner. And then I have the stack of TVs. So this one, my husband got from, I think it was a country store. I want to say Tractor Supply during the Christmas time. And it has the Atari game. Really old school. I'm dating myself on that one. But you can actually turn it on and you can play the game. It works. It has a working game system to it. So there's that one, and I just stacked it on top of this one. This was a Stranger Things capsule. I want to say I found one on clearance at Walmart, and then they were suddenly gone. So I only got the one. I might have gotten two, one for me and one for my daughter, but I can't remember. Anyways, real dusty. But it pops open, and I keep Mike in there, my figure, and the cards and stuff that came with it, just for now, until I can figure out what else to do. I might try to put Mike on the shelf that we just did, but we'll see. I 3D printed this piece. It was supposed to be a really, really small changing table, but we're gonna pretend that it's actually a entertainment stand. And for now, we're going to tuck this back up here. It's kind of a mess. I do keep my games here. So my husband got me Monopoly. I think my husband got them. That, or they were gifts. They were given to me as gifts. So we have Monopoly and we have chess. And they're just the world's tiniest. And they are super adorable. They actually have functioning game pieces in here. They have magnetic game boards, and the pieces are in here, and it's just a fun addition. But these are two games that I do enjoy. And then down here, they don't want to come out, I do have Battleship. Battleship is also another game that I really enjoyed growing up. I've tried to play with my kids sometimes, but it's hit or miss whether they actually enjoy playing. But it also has functioning pieces. And I don't mean we play the little ones. We play the big ones. But I put it under here because they don't fit. These are functioning drawers where we keep console controllers. And that one. And this one we have two other types of controllers. One of them was really, really bad. The other one was a Dreamcast. And then we have our, I guess you would say that's our Nintendo Switch kind of thing. That's actually a sticker that I attached to cardboard, and it came from the craft store. So if you ever want something like this, definitely check out, I think it's Jolie's Boutique at the craft store in the sticker section. Okay, but now that you've seen everything, this is what we have. We need to go back up. Okay, and they're laying on the floor now. This is the game room. I want to add this shelf that we just painted. For now, I think that's the perfect place. I think I might put my Atari TV on top to get it off the other TV. We'll just put that there. Okay, so there's my Atari TV. Not really. Okay, well, close enough. But there it is. I'm sorry this video is turning out so long. But I have these things to add. So we have Hopper from Stranger Things. Okay, fine. Don't stand up by yourself. There. We're going to put Hopper there. And then we have a spaceship. I think from The Witcher. Is that The Witcher? No. Rebel Moon? Whatever. You remember. It was in the other video. I don't know who they are. I gotta find a stand. But the robot that goes with that, I believe, is needing a space. Let me go get it. Okay, and there he is on a stand. And then this was from The Witcher. I think I'm going to remove it from the chain and hang it on the wall. What do you think? Should I just remove it from the chain and make it a decorative piece on the wall? Yeah, I think I should probably do that. Okay, the last thing I have is this, the pig with the money, and I was told by Real Bobby that in the show they hang it from the ceiling, I think it was, and then they fill up with the money that they could potentially win from the show. I think it's ugly. I don't like this. I don't want to add it, so we're not going to. So for now, this is what I have on the shelf. Later on, I might find more little trinkets that fit onto the lower shelf because it is so much smaller. But I really love how that turned out. And if I could ever find more of the Netflix capsules, I think I will get them just because it has fun pieces and there's still some that I want to get. But this is my update. This is me finally showing you my doll space. My nerdy doll space, because that's who I am. I'm a nerd and I'm a gamer, and she needed a game room. So welcome to the room. I'll see you guys later.